First contact fallout. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stood at the window of the International Space Station's new quantum observatory, her dark eyes fixed on the strange distortion appearing at the edge of lunar orbit. After 15 years of studying deep space phenomena, she thought she'd seen everything. She was wrong. The distortion resolved into a massive vessel, its surface shifting like liquid mercury under the starlight. Before anyone could react, every screen on the station lit up with a message. Attention Earth installation. Prepare for inspection. Quarantine status verification in progress. What do they mean, quarantine status? Commander David Chen's voice crackled over the intercom. Elena's fingers flew across her console, analyzing the incoming data. The readings didn't make sense. The ship was somehow both there and not there, operating on principles that defied conventional physics. Sir, we're receiving a transmission from Geneva. The same message is appearing in every major city on Earth, Elena reported, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. The UN Security Council is convening an emergency session. The truth, when it came, shook the foundations of human civilization. Earth had been classified as a quarantine species centuries ago by the Galactic Assembly, a designation reserved for species deemed too unpredictable to join galactic society. Regular inspections were conducted to ensure we hadn't advanced beyond certain technological thresholds. The fact that we'd managed to establish a permanent space presence had triggered an automatic review. Dr. Marcus Wong, head of the newly formed Human Defense Initiative, addressed the emergency UN session 2 days later. They've been watching us, deliberately suppressing our development through subtle manipulations of our scientific discoveries. The unexplained failures in our quantum research weren't failures at all. They were interventions. The Assembly's representative, a being that called itself Observer Primarch, delivered their ultimatum with cold efficiency. Earth would either accept permanent technological restrictions and oversight, or face forced regression to a pre-industrial state. Your species exhibits dangerous levels of innovative behavior, it stated. Your solutions are unpredictable, your methods chaotic. You cannot be allowed to contaminate established galactic protocols. But the Assembly had made a crucial mistake. In their certainty of superior technology, they'd failed to notice that humans had already discovered some of their monitoring devices. For 3 years, a secret coalition of scientists had been studying these artifacts, learning about the Assembly's capabilities and limitations. Elena found herself at the heart of humanity's response. Working with a global team of researchers, she discovered something extraordinary about the Assembly's technology. They've optimized everything to perfection, she explained to the Emergency Council. But that's their weakness. They've eliminated all redundancy, all alternative approaches. They literally cannot comprehend solutions that they consider inefficient. In the secure bunker beneath the Swiss Alps, humanity's leaders faced a choice: submit to eternal restriction, or risk everything on a plan that seemed, by any rational standard, insane. The vote was unanimous. As Observer Primarch prepared to implement the regression protocols, Elena and her team initiated their countermeasure. They didn't try to match the Assembly's perfect technology. Instead, they embraced what the Assembly considered their greatest flaw: human unpredictability. The plan was already in motion. Across the globe, hidden facilities hummed to life, implementing protocols that would either save humanity or doom it. The question was, had the Assembly's pursuit of perfection left them blind to the power of imperfection? Project Prometheus, the underground facility in the Australian outback, wasn't supposed to exist. Officially, the vast expanse of red earth above it housed a mining operation. In reality, it was the heart of humanity's most ambitious technological project. Dr. Kira Patel stood before a massive holographic display, her fingers dancing through streams of data. Around her, hundreds of scientists and engineers from every nation worked with silent intensity. They had 48 hours before the Assembly's deadline. The Assembly's technology is based on perfect quantum coherence, Kira explained to the gathered military leaders. They've achieved computational efficiency we can barely comprehend. but they've also painted themselves into a corner. She gestured, and the display shifted to show their prototype. Unlike the assembly's ethereal ships, this vessel was an aggressive fusion of conventional materials and quantum technologies. Where they sought perfection, humanity embraced controlled chaos. They're so focused on maintaining perfect quantum states that they've lost the ability to handle quantum uncertainty, Marcus Wong added, stepping forward. We're building systems that thrive on it. The prototype vessel, designated Prometheus 1, represented everything the assembly feared about human innovation. Its hull incorporated crystalline matrices salvaged from discovered monitoring devices, but used them in ways their creators never intended. Instead of trying to achieve perfect quantum states, the human engineers deliberately introduced controlled uncertainty. General Sarah Hassan watched the test simulations with growing excitement. You're telling me we can use their own technology against them because we're using it wrong? Exactly, Kira replied. Their systems are designed to interface with perfectly calibrated quantum fields. They literally cannot process the kind of quantum noise we're generating. It's like trying to play a symphony with heavy metal instruments. The signal gets lost in what they consider distortion. Around the world, similar facilities worked on different aspects of the plan. In Siberia, teams developed hybrid propulsion systems that combined conventional thrust with quantum field manipulation. In Brazil, neural interface specialists created control systems that used human intuition to guide quantum calculations. The assembly had made a fundamental error in their assessment of humanity. They saw our tendency to find unusual solutions as a flaw, never considering that this might be our greatest strength. While they had spent millennia perfecting a single approach to technology, humanity had always excelled at finding unexpected alternatives. Final integration testing complete, Marcus announced. Prometheus 1 is ready for human trials. Kira stepped into the neural interface chamber, her heart pounding. Everything depended on proving that humans could effectively control these hybrid systems. The assembly's technology required perfect precision. They believed no lesser species could handle such complexity. But humans had learned to thrive in imperfection. The neural link activated, and Kira felt the ship's systems merge with her consciousness. It was nothing like the sterile perfection of assembly interfaces. This was wild, organic, alive. The quantum fields responded not just to her thoughts, but to her intuition. Neural sync stable, she reported, her voice tight with concentration. Quantum variance within acceptable parameters. We're ready. In orbit, Observer Primarch's ship continued its preparations for implementing the regression protocols. Their sensors, calibrated for perfect quantum signatures, failed to detect the growing network of human quantum activity. It wasn't that humanity's technology was invisible. It was that the assembly's perfect systems literally could not process such crude implementations. General Hassan reviewed the final deployment plans. 12 prototype vessels, each crewed by a neural-linked pilot and support team. Not a fleet by any military standard, but if their theories were correct, it wouldn't need to be. All facilities report ready, Marcus announced. We can begin deployment at your command. Hassan looked at the assembled team, at the faces of humanity's best and brightest who had worked tirelessly to give their species a fighting chance. Begin Operation Prometheus. Let's show the assembly why adaptability beats perfection. The silent strike. The launch countdown proceeded in complete silence. In neural interface chambers across the globe, 12 pilots merged their consciousness with their vessels. No radio communications, no quantum signals, nothing that assembly sensors could detect. They had trained for months in perfect isolation, knowing that even the smallest quantum disturbance could alert their watchers. Aboard Prometheus 1, Kira felt the ship's systems as extensions of her own nervous system. The quantum field generators pulsed in rhythm with her heartbeat, creating patterns that would appear as meaningless background noise to assembly sensors. Around her, similar vessels rose from hidden facilities, each one a testament to humanity's refusal to accept limitations. Observer Primarch's massive ship hung in high orbit, its perfect crystalline structure reflecting sunlight in complex patterns. Their sensors swept Earth continuously, monitoring for any sign of resistance. They detected nothing unusual, just the normal quantum chaos of a primitive world. All vessels in position, Marcus reported through the neural link. The hybrid ships had taken up stations in Earth's shadow, masked by the planet's natural quantum fluctuations, initiating Phase 1. The first indication that something was wrong came when assembly monitoring stations began reporting errors. Their perfect quantum networks, designed to maintain absolute coherence across vast distances, started experiencing unexpected fluctuations. To their rigid systems, it appeared as simple environmental noise, the kind of quantum static they'd learned to filter out ages ago. But this was no natural phenomenon. Each human vessel was generating carefully controlled quantum interference, creating patterns that exploited gaps in the assembly's perfect but inflexible detection systems. Where they expected order, humans introduced chaos. Where they sought perfection, Earth's defenders offered beautiful imperfection. Phase 1 complete, Kira reported. The assembly's communication network was compromised, though they hadn't realized it yet. Their systems, unable to process the primitive signals humans were generating, simply filtered them out as background noise. General Hassan watched from the Australian Command Center as Phase 2 began. The Prometheus vessels began moving into attack position, their hybrid drives creating quantum wake patterns that mimicked natural space phenomena. It was like watching a pride of lions talking through tall grass, invisible not through perfect camouflage, but by exploiting their prey's blind spots. Observer Primarch's first warning came when their ship's quantum field generators suddenly desynchronized. The perfect crystalline structure, maintained by precise quantum relationships, began experiencing impossible fluctuations. Their systems, designed to handle only perfect quantum states, couldn't process the controlled chaos humans were introducing. This is impossible. The observer broadcast, their usually perfect transmission distorted by quantum interference. Your species lacks the capability to manipulate quantum fields at this level. No, Kira replied, her voice carried on waves of controlled quantum chaos. We lack the capability to manipulate them perfectly, but we've learned something you forgot long ago. Sometimes imperfection is exactly what you need. The 12 Prometheus vessels revealed themselves, emerging from Earth's shadow like avenging angels. Their hybrid hulls gleamed with an inner light, quantum fields writhing around them in patterns that defied the assembly's understanding of physics. Where assembly ships were crystal perfection, these vessels were beautiful chaos incarnate. Your final warning has been received and rejected, General Hassan announced on all frequencies. Humanity will not be confined. We will not be restricted. And we will not allow your fear of imperfection to limit our potential. Observer Primarch's ship attempted to bring its weapons to bear, but their targeting systems couldn't lock onto the human vessels. The quantum signatures were too chaotic, too unpredictable. Every attempt to achieve weapon coherence was disrupted by carefully calculated interference. You have two choices, Hassan continued. Withdraw and acknowledge humanity's right to develop on our own path, or face the consequences of underestimating what primitive species can achieve. The Prometheus fleet moved in perfect synchronization, their chaotic quantum fields creating interference patterns that began to disrupt the assembly ship's core systems. They weren't attacking with conventional weapons. They were attacking the very foundations of assembly technology. As alarms blared across their perfect ship, Observer Primarch faced a reality their species had never contemplated. Sometimes, imperfection was stronger than perfection. Paradigm shift. The news spread across the galaxy at quantum speed. A quarantine species had not only detected assembly monitoring, but had developed technology that could challenge their dominance. The incident could not be contained or dismissed. Humanity had forced the galaxy to confront an uncomfortable truth. Perfection had become a limitation. In the Assembly's Grand Council chamber, thousands of representatives from advanced civilizations gathered to address the crisis. The vast crystalline space, designed to maintain perfect quantum harmony, now seemed oddly sterile to many observers. Screens displayed the human vessels, their chaotic beauty a stark contrast to the assembly's geometric precision. The humans have achieved what we deemed impossible. First Speaker Xylith addressed the chamber, their crystalline form refracting light in complex patterns. They have found strength in what we considered weakness, advantage in what we labeled primitive. Dr. Elena Rodriguez and Marcus Wong stood before the assembly, the first humans ever to enter this sacred space. They had been invited, or perhaps summoned, to explain humanity's perspective to the gathered representatives of galactic civilization. You sought to prevent us from developing, because our methods seemed chaotic, our progress unpredictable. Elena spoke, her voice carrying across the chamber. But chaos and unpredictability are the engines of innovation. By embracing perfect solutions, you've forgotten how to find new ones. The evidence was undeniable. Human hybrid technology, while less efficient by assembly standards, could achieve results their perfect systems couldn't match. The neural interfaces, combining organic uncertainty with quantum mechanics, opened possibilities that pure mathematical approaches had never considered. We don't seek to replace your methods, Marcus added, gesturing to the technical data displaying behind him. We offer something more valuable. An alternative perspective. Imagine what we could achieve by combining your perfection with our creative chaos. In secure facilities across Earth, Kira and her fellow pilots continued to demonstrate the capabilities of the Prometheus vessels. They showed how human intuition, linked directly to quantum systems, could achieve results that defied conventional physics. The assembly's perfect sensors struggled to even detect these achievements, trapped by their own rigid parameters. The debate in the council chamber raged for days. Some representatives argued for immediate military action to contain the human threat. Others, particularly younger species who had struggled with the assembly's rigid standards, saw an opportunity for change. Perhaps, a representative from the Archean confluence suggested, we have been measuring advancement by the wrong criteria. The humans have proven that progress need not follow a single path. The Assembly's classification system, used for millennia to judge species' readiness for galactic society, was based on achieving specific technological benchmarks with perfect efficiency. Humanity had demonstrated that this entire approach might be fundamentally flawed. We propose a new framework, Elena announced, presenting humanity's vision for the future, one that values diversity of approach as much as technical achievement. The galaxy needs both perfection and innovation, structure and chaos, efficiency and creativity. The evidence continued to mount. Other species, inspired by Earth's example, began experimenting with hybrid technologies. Many discovered that their own primitive cultural approaches, combined with advanced technology, yielded unexpected breakthroughs. In orbit above Earth, Observer Primarch's ship had become a symbol of change. Its perfect crystalline structure now incorporated elements of human design, creating something entirely new. The vessel's quantum fields pulse with both ordered precision and controlled chaos, demonstrating that the two approaches could not only coexist, but enhance each other. The question before us, First Speaker Xylith addressed the Council, is not whether to accept humans into galactic society, but how quickly we can learn from their example. We sought to quarantine them to protect our perfect order. In doing so, we nearly denied ourselves the very catalyst we needed to evolve. As the Council debated, humanity continued to advance. The Prometheus project expanded, incorporating insights from alien technologies while maintaining its uniquely human approach. Each breakthrough demonstrated further that the Assembly's fear of chaos had become a self-imposed limitation. The galaxy was changing, and at its heart was a species that had turned its greatest perceived weakness into an unprecedented strength. Humanity had not just earned its place among the stars, it had redefined what that place could be. New Dawn. 1 year after humanity's demonstration of hybrid technology, the galaxy had transformed in ways no one could have predicted. The former quarantine world called Earth had become the center of a technological and philosophical revolution that rippled across civilized space. The Singapore Accord, as it came to be known, established Earth as the headquarters of the new Galactic Innovation Institute. Where once stood assembly monitoring stations, now rose vast research complexes where species from across the galaxy came to study what humans called adaptive engineering. Dr. Kira Patel stood in the Institute's main atrium, watching representatives from 100 worlds examine the latest hybrid vessels. The ships were beautiful chaos made manifest, each one a unique combination of assembly precision and human creativity. Some incorporated biological components, others drew inspiration from Earth's diverse cultural traditions, but all of them represented a fundamental shift in how the galaxy approached technology. The latest test results are in, Marcus Wong announced, joining her at the observation window. The Archon confluence has successfully adapted our neural interface technology to their crystalline biology. They're achieving quantum synchronization rates that neither of us could reach alone. This was perhaps humanity's greatest contribution to galactic society, not just their technology, but their ability to inspire others to think differently. Species that had spent millennia following the assembly's rigid path of advancement were rediscovering their own unique approaches to progress. In orbit, the massive form of Unity Station took shape, its design a revolutionary blend of assembly and human engineering principles. Unlike the sterile perfection of traditional assembly construction, the station incorporated controlled uncertainty into its very structure. Quantum fields flowed through its corridors like rivers, guided by both precise mathematics and organic intuition. We've received another dozen applications for the Cultural Exchange Program, Alina Rodriguez reported during the weekly council meeting. The program, which paired assembly scientists with human artists and philosophers, had produced breakthroughs that neither side could have achieved alone. The Centaurian Collective is particularly interested in how human music might influence quantum field harmonics. Observer Primarch, now serving as the liaison between traditional assembly leadership and the new hybrid initiatives, had undergone their own transformation. Their crystalline form now displayed subtle imperfections, deliberately maintained variations that allowed for greater adaptation and response. We thought we had reached the pinnacle of development. They addressed a gathering of student engineers from across the galaxy. In our pursuit of perfection, we had become perfect crystals, beautiful, precise, and ultimately static. Humanity reminded us that true advancement requires the courage to be imperfect. The Prometheus vessels, once symbols of Earth's defiance, had become templates for a new age of exploration. Each ship was unique, incorporating elements from multiple species and cultures. They represented not just technological advancement, but a fundamental shift in how the galaxy viewed progress itself. General Hassan, watching the launch of the latest hybrid fleet, reflected on how far they had come. "We never wanted to prove we were better," she mused. "We just wanted the chance to be different." And different they were. Earth's cities now hosted alien artists seeking to understand human creativity. Assembly engineers worked alongside human inventors, combining mathematical precision with intuitive leaps. The quarantine that was meant to contain humanity had instead released something far more powerful, hope for a future without limits. In the depths of space, the combined fleet of human and assembly vessels charted new territories. Their diverse approaches to problem-solving made them far more effective than any single methodology could achieve. When faced with the unknown, they had learned that having multiple perspectives wasn't just helpful, it was essential. Kira, preparing to lead another neural interface training session, smiled as she watched her alien students attempt to embrace controlled chaos. "Perfect isn't always better," she reminded them. "Sometimes the flaws, the variations, the unexpected solutions, that's where the real magic happens." The galaxy had learned what humanity had known all along, that true strength lies not in achieving perfection, but in the endless journey of discovery. The Assembly's mistake in quarantining Earth had led to their greatest advancement. the recognition that every species, every culture, every unique approach had something valuable to contribute. As the sun set on another day of unprecedented collaboration, the lights of Unity Station gleamed in orbit, a beacon of hope for a future where perfection and chaos danced together among the stars.